Dum dum da dum dum da dum dum. Brain Gamer, first in the house today, Brain. What's up, everybody? How you doing? So, today's Thursday. Normally I don't stream, but I gotta get these sketches out. I gotta get them out, folks. I gotta get them out. So, the most important thing to do is to draw. I'm gonna do this a little bit differently than I did last night. No, Hector, schedule's not out of whack. Thursday is a catch-up day in anything I need to do. This is the catch-up. Not to be mistaken with the cat's up. What was I saying? A little bit differently. I'm going to do one at a time. So I'm going to draw this, ink it, end the stream, start a stream over. So, there we go. There we go. So we got the, we already did 2 last night. I'll get these live soon. We did the Jane Foster Thor, and we did a Tifa. So now we got the Scarlet Witch. Nothing but the dog. Hey, what's up, Napalm? Yeah, it was good times. Good times last night. Have a mic on and everything else. I try to get mic on as much as possible, but that's up to Mike. So. Also saw. Hold on one second. Sorry. You also just saw Tom pin up the kaiju. I did. Looks fantastic. Oh, thank you. All the little. Oh yeah, and the moon. How long did it take you to find and develop your art style? I was trying to figure out my style. Man, I'm still working on it. You know, the thing about style is, right, is how do I say? Let's just take our time with this. Let's take our time with this conversation because there's a lot of different points I think to make on that. Um, a lot of times style comes from shorthand, right? Like you don't maybe you're not good at drawing something, so you don't draw it, or you draw it a certain way, like hair. You know, you make hair look a certain way. That's one kind of style. Uh, the other kind can be developed through conscious decision making. Like, oh, I kind of want to incorporate this. I kind of want to incorporate that. I think in order to doing it the first way, developing the style because you're kind of not good at doing things, is not a way to go. And the second you start taking on work or you try to apply for work that other people are paying for, publishers or anything else, you're going to be tasked with things you're not good at doing. So I spent a lot of time learning construction and working in other people's sandboxes, so to say. Like you know, I've drawn covers and stuff for like Big Dog Ink and Aspen, so more mature women, motorcycles. I worked on monster books. I did like a kind of a Disney kind of thing with Mosaic. I did. I was working on Dead Junior, all the video game stuff. I'd flip styles all the time. I'd draw these creatures, and then I'd have to go draw Suda 51's No More Heroes 2 in that style. So I spent a lot of time working on construction. And then as as you get a little bit older or a little bit more mature in your development as an artist and what you're capable of doing foundationally, you can work in things that you gravitate to, and then maybe your style comes from just meeting a blend between that conscious decision making in terms of the kinds of things you enjoy drawing or how you'd like to see them drawn, and time. Like, I'm not going to spend 7 hours on these sketches, so sometimes fingers will come out a certain way or certain shapes I'm drawing because they become more natural to how I think, and I think that's where I've had my most success in terms of developing something where you go, oh, Rob, man, it's your style. It's like, well, what doesn't work is when it's like, hey, man, I'm not good at hair, so this hair is going to look stylized. I'm not good at that, so and then give yourself time, time to mature as an artist. I'm 30, 38, and I'm still working a lot of this stuff out. Now, I'll let you know, publishers generally don't care for your style. You generally like it when you kind of fit in with whatever they're doing. So, but I have found that normal people, the internet, people who buy things, customers, have a much more interested opinion on this sort of thing. Like, if I want to draw a Scarlet Witch looking like this with big feet and thick legs, they're cool with that. I've always, I've had opinions for a long time. Like, I like the way certain things look, like chunkier shapes. Things look kind of like toys. I've always brought that. Even when I had to like work in other people's styles or house looks, I always try to incorporate a little bit of my own thing in there. In terms of, but you got to have an opinion, right? So you got to like think about that. Not opening up a bunch of comics and saying, how am I going to draw? Am I going to draw noses like, Joe Matt? Or am I going to draw feet like Sean Galloway? Like, it's not that. It's what do you want to be stuck in your room doing for years? Because I look at my art more than anybody, So, what do I want to be comfortable with looking at all the time and living with? and then giving yourself the time to develop that. You know, some people get there faster than others, you know. Try different things too, you know. I've drawn in a lot of different styles. You can form, sometimes it's easier to form an opinion on things after, you know, it's easier to know what you don't like sometimes than it is to be like, I like this. And be prepared if people just don't give a shit too. It's okay, you know. Not everyone becomes successful overnight. I've, you know, not managed to build my own little fun house here at SketchCraft, but you know. Remember when I worked in an art department? My first job on T-shirts, I had the West Coast Choppers license when that was still popular, and you know, a lot of the people there come out of LA art, and I'd be drawing like cartoon characters, and they go, "Man, you know, you gotta learn to like actually draw, man." You know, like they hated that shit, and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can't draw this, you know, for that stuff, you know." But I was able to apply a lot of like the way I gravitate towards finding things about a property and develop. Like I try to do little motorcycle plushies for girls, developing a female, yeah, a girls line, which they never ran with. And this is 2005, you know, and they were like, nope. I did a thing with a boys line once. We tried to run. I think we ran some of the shirts, but retailers never picked up on it. With like a cool little skeleton lowrider character. In t-shirts, you want to always think about who your customer is. You know, who are you trying to speak to? And so it's kind of the mentality I take with it. Like, what kind of what if I'm drawing this way? Who am I trying to speak to? I'm not trying to speak to the person who collects super ultra realistic drawings of Iron Man. You know. But never style over substance, right? Or construction. Like I said, don't shortchange yourself. Do your best. Always try to draw, you know, three-dimensionally as much as possible. Like, but I do draw on different things. Like every now and then I do this gritty '90s, you know, Stephen Platt kind of McFarlane kind of look. you know, which would be the opposite of this entirely. I'm sure at some point I'll end up having to do stuff more like the Cupid art again over at Big Dog. How do I want to do that? Awesome. Thanks for the insight. I'm still finding what medium is best for me. I work in digital, painting, pencils, inks, when finding work. I do everything. I would recommend doing a little bit of everything all the time. Today, after I get done with this, I'll be working on watercolor. And then we're going to go right back into digital stuff with the Final Fantasy IX in terms of roughy lines, and then I'll traditionally draw it and then digitally color it, as well as doing more Copic stuff soon. So I do a little bit of everything, and they all tend to inform one another. You know, traditional art means you can sell it, you know, for a higher price, right? People get to physically own things. So the only thing I don't deal with is like big canvas paintings. I just don't have the space for it. So eventually, you know, work on that. It's not high on my list. So I sketched all of these out digitally, but then I'm finishing the lines and inks traditionally, right? If this were for Marvel, I would probably, well, I don't know. I'm trying to color more over my traditional inks and stuff to save time. But if I had to make it super clean, there would be a digital inking phase after I drew it. I don't, like a portfolio, there isn't a one-all, you know? So with these, people bought Final Fantasy VII prints and a couple of different items in my store. This person bought line arts. I did this Violator thing, so they got a custom sketch. And with the Final Fantasy stuff, people buy the prints can get a Final Fantasy character sketch. Do you ever run into a form of artist block where you can't come up with something to depict? Well, I mean, if you're trying to just come up with an idea for something, take a commission. Someone will tell you what to draw. You know? If you're having trouble just drawing, like none of it's flowing, there's a few things I do, right? Every now and then you run into this. First of all, I ask myself, have I slept? Sleep's usually a problem. The lack of it. If I have been getting plenty of sleep and it's still not working right, take a day off. One day off, go just do whatever. Have fun, enjoy life. You know? Come back, and then when you come back, it's going to be painful and slow. So just focus on getting one thing done. You know? It could be coloring, it could be whatever. It doesn't have to be the thing that's giving you a headache. And then at some point during that process, it will start to snap back. I mean, when I'm I mean, having worked in like I said, having worked in art departments, you know, when they expected to be there at sometimes they, you know, I've had to be at work at 6:30 sometimes drawing, you know. Like I can't fucking draw at 6:30, guys. Like, you know, so I would find other things that were on the list to do that were involved drawing, you know. Coloring, graphic design. You come to find out that a lot of it is just exhaustion or a lack of understanding. Maybe you're just making it up as a go, right? Like you don't really understand what it is you're doing. You've just been drawing things and hoping they sort of come out well, you know, like if you understand silhouettes and construction, you always have a bunch of silhouettes on hand. You can plug something into there, you can, you know, focus on a different phase of it, paint something that's already done, color something that's already done. So fear definitely isn't a problem in that scenario. Best way to overcome is how to choose the right skin color. Depends on the person. You know, I mean, you could type in skin tones into Photoshop and get into Google and get some pre-made, you know, skin tones. If you have some comics you like, just buy the digital version, capture a page, and sample. You know, it's easier now than ever to learn from pre-existing stuff. But I always check my exhaustion rate first. Usually, it probably has to do. If I'm having trouble, it's because I'm tired or just exhausted. And it's okay to take a day off. So you know, fuck it, 2 days off if you need it. Past that, if you just can't sketch, it's because you don't want to, and you got other issues, you know. But I mean, I've never been in a situation where I'm going to tell my art director, "Hey, man, I'm just not feeling it today," and he would just look at me and be like, and then you could feel your fucking way out the door, you know. So 10 years of that, you know what I mean? I don't really understand um, block. I understand exhaustion and maybe not wanting to do something. Like you're just like, I don't want to fucking do that. Like, you know. I did make a video on using the color picker if you're interested in how the color picker works in Photoshop. But buy a few issues of Spawn, issues 60 through 100. Sample the colors. Got plenty of different ethnicities and types. I don't really stress over that stuff because people smarter than me figured that out years ago. So I've already got samples of everything. In terms of like Copics, I've had to like trial and error my way through what I personally like. I mean, there are plenty of movies out there too, you know. Sample Princess and the Frog, Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New Groove. You know, Beauty and the Beast, you're going to get a wide variety. Uh, does that go? Yeah, it goes back like that. Okay. Hey, congrats. I really hope for the best for you, Hector. Truly I do. I will put a word in with the shoe gods to release you from your contract. Bundy approves, right? Bundy approves. I sell shoes. No, don't care. I have a wide variety of tastes, and Married with Children's high on that list. First four seasons. First four seasons. Night. Oh, nice. Well said, Knight. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, once you really get all the construction and fundamentals down, art's more like a puzzle. I liken it more like a puzzle. It's like you're just trying to make all the pieces fit, you know? It's like you're kind of unraveling what it's supposed to be, you know? It becomes more fun. Um, it becomes unfun when there's giant pressure to get things done faster, right? Or when there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen and what you would naturally do is sort of, you know, guided, guided, what's the word? Man, making art by committee is no fun. Yeah. Right. Give yourself some time to think about what it is, you know. If you don't want to do something, then you know what? I've learned to just, I don't want to do it right now. That being said, there's times I have no choice, right, to work, but to work on someone I don't want to. And I've always been pretty proud that when push comes to shove, I can make myself do it. But what I'll do is I will work incredibly slow. You know, I'm gonna work on this and I'm gonna do it right, but I'm gonna put on podcasts and I'm gonna stream and I'm gonna talk to people and I might have a movie going on and I'm gonna see I'm gonna work on it and just chip away and try to take my mind off what I'm doing, you know, and just slowly work through a piece. And believe me, folks, if you hang out enough, you'll see those nights when I'm working on shit where it's like, I don't want to do this, you know. I think it's okay to bitch and complain, but the work still has to get done. If you're gonna bitch, you have to be working. You can't bitch and sit there not doing shit. You know, complaining's okay. I don't have a problem with it if it's in service of actually getting the job done. No, Hector, the trick is to get commissions to pay for supplies, right? Even if you're selling if you're selling $5 sketches, who cares? If as long as it buys you the next marker, right? You draw your way through your supplies. and you use those supplies to make the money back for more supplies. commissions are hard to get here mainly, and the interests are hard. So, um, I don't do anything local. I do everything off the internet. You know, so uh, it took a couple years to kind of just get a presence going. But I mean, I didn't have an Instagram when I started. So, between having Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, everything else, um, and being as visible as possible, In terms of a local art community, I've never had that. I came from San Diego. They didn't give a flying fuck about what I was doing. You know? The art scene in San Diego fucking sucks. It's all into like street art or gallery art and painting sneakers and shit, so everyone wants to be the next Shepherd Ferry out there. The internet, everything's possible. If you have an agreeable style. I mean, you got to get on everything. You want to be on eBay, you want to be on Comic Art Fans, you want to put stuff up. And I don't panhandle. I just start drawing things, put them in the store, draw things, put them in the store, make them cheap. I started with $10 sketches. I didn't draw them super much. Like, they weren't super rendered like this, or this isn't even super rendered, but they were super loose. You know, I got to the point where I was just like, that's done, that's done, that's done. Matter of fact, when I first started, I think I just blatantly just was like, yeah, commission, sold it. And I didn't sell it. It was just sitting there. After a while, people were like, I want to get one. It's $10. I'll get two. Perfect. I don't want a local scene. I need a global scene. Need new people. Need constant. There's a lot of room to grow out there. So don't be discouraged by where you live. I moved from San Diego to Idaho, and the internet is still there. So. I mean, all the things I've done, I've been published regularly for 10 years. And You know, Artist Effects Magazine, Artist of the Month, all this stuff. You know, I think I have 5 or 6 daily deviations. You know, still have an incredibly small following on the internet. You know, so plenty of people would just sit in their room drawing pictures of anything. You know, hundreds of thousands of views. So don't worry about all that. You know. But when it comes to like art communities and trying to fit in somewhere, I don't fit in anywhere. I don't do any. I'm not in any panels and any conventions. I only go to one con a year, and I have to pay for that too. You know, it's in Vegas. Could never get into San Diego Comic Con as an independent or small press artist. When I was living there, grew up there. You know, used to talk to the owner, the guy who ran Comic Con when I worked at a copy shop. He'd come in, didn't matter. You know, I work for IDW and stuff. Can't get in. Doesn't matter. You know, doesn't stop me though. Like, make appealing art, put it out there as much as possible. But if people can't find you, then, you know, that's the problem. And if, you know, your art isn't at the point where you should be making a living at it, then be okay with that. Improve the art, you know? All things in time. If that's discouraging and you quickly give up, then art may not be the second or first career choice for you. That's possible too. I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I wanted to be a Muppeteer or a pro wrestler. I found out I didn't like to get hit in the face much. I got a scar above my eye from that. Um, and then with the Muppets thing, the puppeteering, there's only how many jobs are there for that, right? And I'm not moving to LA, so out there. Now, had I known about YouTube when I was like in the early 90s, had I known that was coming down the pike, maybe. Now this is what, you know, spend all my time doing. But Brandon, who's on the regular cast all the time, where he lives, that's a strong art community. He's like involved in a lot of stuff. But a lot of those people ain't very good. And they all just sit around buying each other's stuff. And he hit a point in his career in his art path where he couldn't sell anything anymore because the local art community was just spent, you know, like people buying the same things. And I told him, I said, that's a clique, man. Like you don't wanna you know, you wanna be a part of it to an extent, you know, certainly. I mean, I told him, feel very lucky about that. Like but like out here, everyone paints ducks and shit, right? It's like it's all wilderness painting, plein air, which is fine, you know. Like that, I enjoy looking at. I watch Bob Ross, um, but I don't care, you know. The internet, there's always someone out there, you know. But I learned that from doing T-shirts for a long time. Like, okay, so Walmart doesn't want this design. That's okay. Cracker Barrel does. Cracker Barrel, you know. Like we're selling it over here. I mean, I've walked into art job interviews and, I'm totally qualified for it, but it's like, yeah, we're passing, you know? I've been rejected plenty of times. Well, you want to talk about failure? Welcome to SketchCraft. You can make a living out of failure. Failure doesn't dictate quality, you know? Quality's up to you, but if you don't have the, I mean, you have to be obsessed. This is a competition. This isn't, I mean, it's a competition with yourself. You're constantly competing against what you did last. And if you just, I think sometimes people want to be rewarded or validated. I think validated is probably more, you want validation. Um, but I've met, I mean, I know plenty of pros have been working 20 years, 30 years in the field. I've sat right next to them and they don't feel validated. Oh, I worked in this, but no one knows who I am. I'm old. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you like the grass is always greener. So no one can push you to want to do it. You know, nobody. But if you're looking for some form of validation, you may get none. You get it in small doses. You get little likes here and there. Someone buys something every now and then. Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm not gonna say don't be frustrated sometimes. It happens. But if you develop your eye for quality stuff, like the kind of thing you want to make, and if you're actually really producing it at that level, you're not just like deluding yourself, and you're still not working out, then you can't be discouraged by that because you're doing the right thing. You just haven't gotten to the right hands yet. You know, make a sketchbook, put it on Kickstarter, sell it for cost. Plus shipping. Don't eat money, but upgrade the cost with commissions. $5 sketch, add $20 for or $40 for on that. Build it slowly. There's always ways. There's always ways. Take all the things you did, color them yourself or pay someone to have them colored, you know, and start submitting stuff for like covers and stuff to comic book companies. Just cold email. Build a few sample pages if you want to do interiors. Apply that for about 10 years. I mean, you'll get opportunities. Eventually you will get opportunities. What you do with them is up to you. I always say opportunities appear at inopportune times. They'll appear when you're like, not now. This is when I'm supposed to get married. I don't have the time for this. Like, oh, but it showed up. That's what you wanted. How many times that's happened? It's like I want to do comic book covers. Well, Tom needed a cover for his Kickstarter, but he had to have it by a certain point. He was honest about that, and I said, okay, well, Valentine's Day, my wife got flowers, but guess who's working? I made dinner, and she got her flowers, and we watched Shaun the Sheep, and then I got my ass back to fucking work. you know? I would rather slowly chip away at this. A little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, than get all my fucking fame and fortune from one place. You know? Because everything runs out, everything changes. That's the one thing I've learned about this industry is everything changes. When I started in t-shirts, you know, one t-shirt at Walmart can sell for an entire year. Pay for every fucking thing in the building. That does not exist anymore. You know? You can have 15 shirts at Walmart and good luck, you know? Things change. And it's okay. I mean, don't be afraid of that. You know, don't be like, oh no, what do I do? Well, you know, that's just life. It's just you know, Jack Kirby was an amazing artist. You know, I tried to bust that shit out today to a publisher. They're gonna be like, really? I mean, it's Jack Kirby. I'm like, yeah. What's wrong with that? It's come on. You know, it's not gonna sell. It's gonna be more sophisticated. That's the truth. You know, you can have a little bit of the influence, but you do it straight up, you're not gonna get work. However, you take that same art, right? Take the same art style, you apply it to an idea, like a theme, politics, pinballs, whatever. You figure it out. Video game characters. You apply that same thing and you paint it on a canvas, 70 inches fucking tall. You know what I mean? Like 3 feet by 6 feet. Now you're a gallery artist. You're a pop artist, right? Isn't that crazy? You spread it across 3 different canvases, just like a comic book panel. Put it, you know, and you could sell probably for 10 grand. You know, that's after I get through a few projects, that's the next phase of my career. Like, how can I get into that? I have some clever ideas about that. You know, observation. It's a talent. The observation's a talent of mine. This drawing shit I had to learn through almost sheer willpower. I think this pen is about dead. 3 drawings that got me through, well, probably 4. That's pretty good. Let me go grab a new pen. Give me a sec. No, I just ordered like 20 more of these fucking things. So hopefully they'll be here next week. That should be enough. Hey, what's up, potato? Alright, so right at the end of this, I'm just sort of adding little tweaks here and there. I give myself about 90 minutes. And we're right about on that mark. And then what I will do is I will end the stream and then give it about 10 minutes and start a new stream and we'll do another one. So I can keep these videos a little separate. So they're not all merged together. What's up, down? All right, so complete. Give me 5, 10 minutes, and I'm going to start it back up, and we will work on Yuffie. We got a Yuffie. Yuffie's next. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon. Peace.